conditions for our return in Kashmir, and you are allowing them to do that. You are spending crores on their security, you are paying their hotel bills, you are paying their air bills. You have given them amnesty. You've not given justice to the victims, you've not given justice to the survivors, you've given actually amnesty to those who committed those crimes, turned them into leaders, and today they are masquerading as heroes in that society. They have understood that genocide pays. And you've done everything for them to believe so. In this context, what are we left with? What are our options? Except to go around telling the rest of the country that listen, the same fate is going to befall you if you think that this is the battle of Kashmir and Kashmiri Hindus alone. I think I can go on, but I mustn't. It's limited time. Thank you so much for your patience. I may have left a lot unsaid, and I hope Dr. Chrangoo will forgive my transgressions and fill up those blanks, besides giving us a big picture. Thank you.
Sushilji has been a fellow traveler in the struggle for survival. Distinguished audience, I'm conscious that I'm talking to an educated segment of Indian state society. Sushilji used, towards the conclusion of his presentation, an expression that genocide pays. Perhaps that provided me the first step on which I was thinking that how to address you and what to talk and what not to talk to you. I was here, my mother was not well and I had come for her treatment, and so only yesterday evening while I was in Pune, I was told that you will have come and be a participant in these celebrations. I was not sure what to talk. See, it's a fact that if we internalize the implications of this statement that genocide pays, what happens? What happens then has to be understood. The Holocaust experts have used an expression that if genocide is ignored, it duplicates. It multiplies. Some time back, perhaps you will also have seen that there was a picture which was circulated on the social media. It was the picture of Balochistan. Perhaps the time I remember was 1933 or 1934, showing it in the public, some public place, the Dashara celebrations in 1933. Not remote past, a distant past, a very, very recent past. And the person who had put that picture wanted to tell us that can it happen now? This takes me to another, a very distinct example about which Sushilji mentioned, that partition. There is a consensus, more or less, that the people who died during those fateful months of partition was between 1 to 3 million. Some writers say it was just 1 million, or around that. Some say it was almost 3 million. Let us assume that 1 million people died during the partition. Let's not take the higher figure. 10 lakh people died during a period of months. And trying to fathom out that anywhere in the world, in any war, whether 10 lakh people, 1 million of people have died in a few months. In a more recognized human tragedy, the Holocaust of Jews, which happened over a period of decade, 10 years. Have we ever asked this question, that why was so little written about the Holocaust of partition of India? How much did we think about it? What happened to the people who ran away from Peshawar, who ran away from Balochistan, who ran away from Punjab? We try to go into the human stories of destruction of a culture, of destruction of a civilization. And then ask ourselves the question, that why don't we look into it? You will come to a conclusion that there's something wrong, something fundamentally wrong in the mind thinking of people like us. And perhaps an evil of forgetfulness, as an epidemic, has captured us. We don't want to go to the inconvenient facts. We don't want to go to the inconvenient realities. My son asked me, he was at that time reading in 6th class, he asked me, why are you going around? What for are you giving these speeches? You are going there, what is this? At that time he was not understanding what I am doing. And he asked me this question first time, and for the next week I was almost desperate to decide whether I should tell him what has happened to me and my community and my people. Should I mutilate his innocent conscience? Should I tell him that the world is not as normal, as innocent as perhaps you think? It's a cruel world. Very few books have been written on the partition of India. If you go to Washington and go to the Holocaust Museum, you enter, and there in the initial room there are postcards of victims with their pictures, the small stories. What must have happened in Afghanistan? What must have happened in Balochistan? What must have happened in Peshawar? What must have happened as we move towards this side? As a victim of genocide, I realized that perhaps this is the reason for which I have to live, to tell the truth. Because I realized that it is the victims, if they tell the truth, the civilization is made. If victims stop telling the truth, there will be no addition to the fund of civilization. There will be no addition to the fund of culture. And I realized at that point of time a statement, a very famous Holocaust expert who said, memory is a shield. Samriti ek kavach hai. And at that time I realized that perhaps it might be an easy thing for the state of India to think that 350,000 people have left. Because at that time, in early 90s when we had left, we met some top leaders. And one of the Congress leaders very sincerely told me, Ajay, do you think you are so important that we will wage a war against Islam? Do you think you are so important that we will go into war with Pakistan? understand that they are weighing the pros and cons, perhaps. To what extent to retreat? To what extent to give up? They're weighing the pros and cons. The 350,000 people living in the overwhelmingly Muslim majority area of India, Kashmir, if they perish, is it worthwhile? Is it politically prudent that we would try to reverse it? Because reversing it would mean trying to reverse the process of Islamic expansion. Reversing would mean trying to change the political discourse on J&K state. Reversing it would mean perhaps looking into the very concept of secularism, which was adopted as at the basis of our new nationhood. See, we realized at that point of time that Indian state would not do it. So she said when in Geneva that the resolution was to be passed. Around that time, for the first time, we were there, trying for the first time to inform human rights bodies, countries, that the moment which is recognized as a freedom moment is a moment for the destruction of freedom. The moment which is recognized that it wants to usher in an era of freedom for the people who claim that they have lost it, is basically a moment which ab initio wants to destroy the freedom of the people. If you just access the Google and see all the documentations on greater autonomy, Article 370, even self-rule, which is available. And if you just go through them, you will realize that we are not talking about freedom. We are talking about reversing of freedom. We're not talking about fundamental rights. We're not talking about equality. We're not talking about empowerment. We are talking about reversal of all these things. Greater autonomy document envisages reversal of all those provisions of Constitution of India which empower. So we at that time realized that perhaps the task is a longer task. It was easy for us to understand what Pakistan was doing, but it was not very easy for us to understand what the state of India was doing. We're trying to understand the ideological motivations or the theoretical basis of the suicide which was being conducted from inside, about which some references were made here by Sushilji in his presentation. See, when India became independent after the partition of India, the army commanders, led by the chief of the army staff at that time of India, they went to the new prime minister and congratulated him, and gave him a document of the existing security situation in the region and what immediately, as the Prime Minister of independent India, is required to be done. So they were given that. They made a small presentation. And Nehru looked at the document and then threw it at his face. He said that we have one freedom. Do you think we still need the army? This concept that state is not authority, state is not imperative of authority. This concept that nations do not need armies, they might have emanated from a very naive, very bizarre, very subverted outlook, which continues till now. It is There's no end to it. This government, sometime back, started a peace process with Pakistan. It happened when they said that they have opened that bridge with Pakistan on the other side. And then the people on both sides of Kashmir, the occupied Kashmir and this side of Kashmir, they will come and meet. See, in that group of people who came from POK and tried to meet some of their relations or friends in Jammu, an incident happened which I want to bring to your notice. A man who was a boy at the time of partition, who was reading in the 7th or 8th class at that time, he was now a man who was doing his business in Pak-occupied Kashmir. He came to meet the separated family on this side. He had become Muslim. He had converted and become Muslim. He comes and tries to meet her grand aunt and grand uncle who were still living. When he entered the home, he said, "Assalamu alaikum." Because the boy had converted and he had been living in Pakistan. The elder uncle was like a grandfather, almost a great-grandfather to him. The moment he said Assalamu alaikum, he asked him to stop. Don't come and hug me. Do you know? When on that bridge, your family was being separated and your father was taken towards this side and you were being pulled towards that side. And that gentleman put the dagger 40 times in the heart of your father. You come to meet that family now by telling Assalamu alaikum. You didn't realize what will happen. The other side, he wept, told him that this is how I have been brought up. I wanted to meet you. In Kotli, there's a place in Jammu, just before partition. Before independence, 15, there was almost, for 2 months, there was a siege by the Pakistani army. But it was stopped here. That what were the reasons, perhaps, which at that point of time were the reasons for the partition and the reasons for many of the mistakes which were committed at that point of time. Once it was at that point of time when Jinnah refused to accept the principle of reference to people while deciding the fate of the states like Junagadh, like Hyderabad and Jammu and Kashmir. In case of Jammu and Kashmir, he had already given instructions for a war. 2 months before, the preparations were already taking place. And Kotli was already under siege. For 2 months, a small posse, a small group of local soldiers, and with the people, they were offering a dark resistance. And when the Indian army reached Kotli, they thought it was Diwali. They started distributing sweets. They thought that their ordeal was over. Because they have been defending the town for 2 months continuously. Without any hope that anybody will come and support them. Anybody will come and give them relief. And then when actually Indian army reached, they were told, they thought that this liberation. They thought that now they are free, and their 2 months of struggle in which many people died, it has borne fruits. And in the evening, the commander of the army told them that you have to leave the town. And leave the town, abandon the town, because we are leaving it. Just around that time, in Bimbar Gali, in one of the stadiums, 20,000 people were killed in a few days. And many of the historians say it was the Auschwitz of India. It was a concentration camp of India. I come back to this point that genocide, if ignored, is duplicated. It doesn't remain static, it spreads. And this is what we realize, that what's happening in J&K state, it's going to spread, it's already spreading. The J&K is replicating everywhere. There will be demographic changes, and there will be silence on it, there will be connivance on it. There will be people shifting from composite areas and ultimately exclusive domains getting created. It will start, it is already happening from Kerala to J&K state. Do not be surprised tomorrow somebody says in Kerala that we want a confederation with Maldives. We want a confederation with Indonesia. It's going to happen because the state has abdicated. Indian state thinks that abdication can be a strategy. Delaying a war which is already unleashed, denying a war which is already unleashed, is a war strategy. This is how the Indian mind thinks. I'll give you an example, very contemporary example. I do not want to bore you with things of the past. Very recently, you might have read in the newspapers, Chief of the Army Staff said, he said, in Kashmir, you have to educate the students about India. If you do not educate them in the schools, if you do not have the policy of educating them in the schools, where they are even being shown in their textbooks, there are two flags. How can you defend? He gave a statement like this, that a proper education, pro-India education, is required. And he was rebuffed by the education minister of the state, present state. Sometime back, the present chief minister of J&K state, she said, you don't have to kill terrorists. Try your best to make them surrender. And let's not kill them. The IGP of Kashmir, Munir Khan, he said that we are trying our best to make them surrender. If we go to their parents, we talk to their parents, but do you know what they tell us? They teach us jihad. Sometime back, the representative appointed by Government of India to talk to people in J&K state, particularly separatists, he makes a statement to a newspaper and tells that those people, those TV channels who are criticizing Kashmir, they are creating problems for us. And then he said around the same time, the local police officers were saying, the Director General Police of J&K state was saying that there is no alternative narrative in J&K state. You have to build an alternative narrative to at least tell the youth that there is another side of reality. How can you tell them that you are misguided or you move towards this side mentally unless you tell them what is the alternative side? He said, Director General Police said in a press conference, there is no alternative narrative in Kashmir. The IGP said that Pakistan, through a relentless process of religious indoctrination and campaign through social media, is virtually capturing the minds of the people. The Director General Police is pleading that you have an alternative narrative in J&K state. And the peace interlocutor appointed by Government of India says that you don't talk about the alternative narrative. You don't criticize. Because that is taking them away. It's causing problem for the peace process. You have already said that there's a J&K was turned into something which is an antithesis to this nation. And that was not done by Pakistan. That was done by the political class of India. Just for a moment, try to look into it from this perspective. What does the creation of Pakistan symbolize? Or the same question, if we put slightly differently, what was the underlying principle of the creation of Pakistan? You might have many times thought about it, but maybe from this angle you might not have looked into it. Pakistan was created on the principle, on a religious principle. It was a claim on a territory and claim of a nation on the basis of a religious denomination. Very simple, you must be already knowing it. जो लोग मुसलमान हैं वो अलग राष्ट्र हैं और बाकी लोग अलग राष्ट्र हैं. But globally, if you last 500 years history of the world, you see no country, nowhere in the world there was ever a claim on the territory on the basis of religion. In Germany, they claimed a part of Sudetenland on the basis of their ethnic identity, but not on the basis of religion. So Pakistan was created on the basis of a religious denominator. That there has to be a separate dispensation, a separate state for the people who constitute a Muslim majority, who constitute a particular religious denominator. And immediately after Pakistan was created, on 1st January 1949, there was a ceasefire with the Pakistan after the invasion of Pakistan took place. And immediately after that, Nehru started dialogue with Sheikh Abdullah for the future constitution of the J&K state. Till that time, till 1949, there was no talk about conditional accession. There was no talk about a republic within the republic. Nothing of that sort. But when Nehru started the dialogue, Sheikh Abdullah told Nehru, he told him, look, it is a Muslim majority state. Pakistan is giving me these conditions. They will empower us. They will give us even the communication. They are telling us, give us only the defense and the foreign affairs. Rest, all the subjects will remain with you. And since it's a Muslim majority state, to offset the appeal of Pakistan, you have to give me something more. A process started claiming a territory, claiming a state on the basis of religious denominator. The moment of special status of J&K state is a moment of the continuation of the moment of Pakistan. It is not died. Claiming a territory and claiming a state on the basis of a religious denominator, that is what constitutes Pakistan. So after 47, the partition of 47, the second partition took place when we handed over 1/3 of J&K state to Pakistan. That was the second partition. And with the second partition, the third partition process started. That was the partition. That was the moment for the special status of J&K state. There is a process going on to compartmentalize and break India into pieces on the basis of religion. And we have to find a basis for which we reverse it. We have to find the ideological basis to reverse it. Imagine if 350,000 were expendable for the state of India, then say 6 to 7 million people in such a huge country, which constitute just 0.1% population of whole of India, how are they not expendable? If 6% of the population of Kashmir Valley is expendable, why is not 0.1 or 0.2% population of, say, Kashmir, whole population of expendable in the context of whole of India? Or see this argument slightly in a different way. Are the territories, which are the territories of India, are they merely geographical territories? I'll give you a very interesting example. We could not, after in the 47 of the partition, when Pakistan invaded, we were able to defend only those parts of the territory of Ladakh which were a Buddhist majority. Rest, all the areas revolted, and they went with Pakistan. They're part of the northern areas or whatever Gilgit-Baltistan we talk about. When we talk about Jammu and Kashmir, we are talking about a very critical component of the northern frontier of India. And northern frontier of India is whole of Himalayas. And Kashmir is part of the Himalayas. The strategic experts said it is the central spur. In the Himalayan frontier, it is a central spur whose importance was realized by the Sikhs, and then it was realized by the British. When the Sikhs sent expedition to Kashmir, it was this realization of Maharaja Ranjit Singh that unless we fortify and protect the civilizational boundaries of India, not only geographical boundaries of India, we will not be able to protect our kingdoms. We will not be able to protect the people on this side. So he was very conscious that the advances, the invasions which came from the Khyber passes in the north, they have to be pushed back beyond the Khyber passes. And for this reason, he was understanding the importance that Kashmir forms a critical component of the northern Himalayan frontier. Now, Himalayan frontier is not a geographical frontier, it is a cultural frontier also. It is a spiritual content also. Imagine how much pain it gives us because we see Kailash on the side of China. The entire spiritual lore of India, it emanates from the springs of Himalayas, from the snows of Himalayas, from the caves of Himalayas. So when Pakistan is claiming Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan is not claiming Jammu and Kashmir only for the water resources. Pakistan is not only claiming Jammu and Kashmir only for one reason, that the population is Muslim majority. Pakistan is claiming Jammu and Kashmir because Pakistan knows that if this portion opens up, Himalaya falls. Himalayan frontier collapses. They realize it. That is an eco-spiritual frontier also. Now realize this thing, that Pakistan calls itself a frontier state, a frontline Muslim state. What does it mean? Pakistan realizes that it is the eastern flank of the Muslim world. And the destiny of the Muslim world is to expand and conquer the entire infidel, non-Muslim territory till the whole of the world becomes Darul Islam. Pakistan does not visualize itself to be a frontline Muslim state simply because it is just on the west of India. So Pakistan's destiny is eastward extension of the Muslim power. That is into Kashmir. And Kashmir critically because they know if Kashmir falls, Himalaya falls. And if Himalaya falls, warm Himalayan hinterland, the fall of it will be very quick. Now from this bigger perspective, if you just look at the process they started in Kashmir was destroying the organic content of Indian civilization. Why did they want to push out 400,000 people who would not have provided them much physical resistance in a population mass of say 70 lakh or 7 million or 8 million people? They say that now they are 10 million. They could not have offered them the physical resistance, but they were understanding that it was the continuity of Indian civilization. The Hindus of Kashmir link Kashmir civilizationally, historically with India. This organic content has to be destroyed. Because if this organic content is destroyed, then claim to Kashmir as an Islamic entity becomes more strong. It becomes more viable. And we realized that we have never to give up this claim. This struggle of return has to be kept alive. This struggle for return. And the reversal of genocide will not take place till the time Indian state does not own the responsibility that it has to reverse all genocides which are taking place on the territory of India. Of anybody for religious reasons. If India is a secular country, then it has to realize India is the only country where Hindus live in a majority. It has to have to realize that it is a responsibility of protecting the most egalitarian, most forward-looking aspirations of these people of India. Unless and until Indian state does not realize it. Indian state will be always poised as a neutral entity to the civilization of India. Or many times